Welcome. I know we do have a couple of new faces there. Welcome, guys. My name's Steve Grant. We've got a couple of members logged on. And remember, this session will be recorded and placed into the members area after today's session. So if you weren't able to drop everything at your fitness studio today to log in, I totally get that. But hopefully you can log in this afternoon and still do the planning for the session. This one's called the January Jumpstart. This is a session that I did with Virgin Active and about 25 of their staff in French's Forest last week. And I guess the focus was around how do we actually plan for the year ahead, but without that kind of traditional goal setting, which I find to be a little bit vague and a little bit more sort of dream setting. So what I've done is create a little 3-page framework that's going to help you to actually do your planning while you're in the session today. I want you to walk away with a lot more clarity around not only what you want to achieve, but the things that you have to sort of put in place to get there. There will be opportunities to sort of ask questions as you go along, and I want to use examples from my own experience as well. For the visitors that are logged in today, I think I've been in the industry, the fitness industry now for about 21 years. Owned my own fitness facility in Monavale for 8 years. And whilst, we're able to get up to like $1 million in turnover a year within that sort of first 24 months, I found it exhausting. I found that I was kind of up early and I was working weekends, and I was kind of missing my wife and family. And one of the skills that I actually learned, which gave me sort of longevity in the industry and enabled me to actually enjoy, the daily customer service and the daily sort of interaction with staff, was more of this planning stuff. So, whilst things like lead generation and retention are important, things like, recruitment and developing your staff are important, I really feel like getting organised properly in January is going to give you a lot more freedom and a lot more choice for the year ahead. So let's get stuck into it. So Joe, if you've just logged in and you haven't worked it out, there's a little download in the chat icon there. You can click on that. There's a 3-page worksheet. We're going to actually work through those 3 pages and fill in your answers as we go ahead. All right. So traditional goal setting. I mentioned before that I've sort of found it a little bit vague and a little bit sort of dream setting, but I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. They sort of say with things like New Year's resolutions, when people come into our gyms, or even the ones that don't, exercise at a gym, but they start a health-related New Year's resolution, they talk about the fact that, more than half of those people won't achieve their goal. And I find it a little bit sad, and I don't actually believe it's that hard, but I think there's a reason why so many people are setting goals that they never actually achieve. What I'm interested to know is why you believe people like us that are in the fitness industry, maybe working as gym owners, why do you think that we sometimes set these goals at the start of the year and then we get to the end and we haven't actually ticked it off? Can you type in your answers for me in the chat box? I'm interested to see, what you've found to be challenging in the past, and also why you believe others are also suffering the same fate. So those of you that are new to Zoom, you'll notice there's a little, if you sort of run the cursor at the top of your screen, there's a little panel that drops down with a few different options, like, turning your video on or, writing in a comment. If you can't see the little comment box, there's usually 3 dots on the side there, which enable you to access the chat function. So you can then see some of the things that are coming up. So a couple of answers coming through. Vicky, not clear on and precise on what I want to achieve. Also not a deep enough why. Wow, that's really, really good answer. I think clarity not only is going to help you to utilize your time better, but it's also going to help you to justify when you push other things to the side and say no. So one of the things that Warren Buffett talks about with goal setting is you've actually got to know, or you've got to be aware of what things to say no to. So clarity is going to help. And the other one, not a big enough why. So if you have a list of 25 goals or something each year, it's often too many. You can't attach any real emotion or any real need to it. So therefore, we get to the end of the year without a great deal of success. So for me, I actually feel like there's a couple of big ones. The reason why people don't achieve their goals. One of the first ones is the gap between knowing what you want and the actual implementation of it. So they'll set a goal and they'll say, look, I'd love to have 10 trainers. I'd love to double the number of gym members that I have as part of our direct debit. And they set something like that. So they know what they want, but they just actually don't know what steps are required to get there. If you keep repeating the same sort of lead generation habits, or if you keep repeating the same sort of team development habits, obviously nothing really changes there. The second one, which I find is quite common, is having too many goals. So perhaps trying to do too many things at once inside your business. So again, we'll come back to that today, but you do have to try and isolate which ones are the most important to you. If you sort of get to June or July this year and you've ticked them all off and you want to go for another one, great. But at the same time, I find if you allocate an hour here and an hour there to doing a little bit towards everything, I find that you'll achieve nothing by the end of the year. The last one, the problem with traditional goal setting is that it's all a bit fluffy. I feel like these types of sessions is like 60 minutes based on what do you want. And I don't think that gym owners and fitness professionals find it really hard to outline what they want. I just think we need to spend more time in actually detailing that plan and then trying to do a bit of a pressure test on that to work out, okay, what are the things that are likely to get in our way, so that the plan's actually a good plan and not just a random one or one that's a little bit written by a fairy tale. All right, here we go. So we're going to, I'm going to get you to start utilizing the worksheets. So the first worksheet that you'll have in front of you says the January Jumpstart. It's divided into sort of 5 vertical columns. And under each column, there's 3 different boxes there. So in this one, the first column at the top, you'll see the heading talks about catch the wave. So the first thing I like to do when we're planning our year ahead is to actually look backwards a little bit to see what's working well and see the things that in our business that we've done well. Why? Because most gym owners kind of don't stop for long enough to actually acknowledge the things that you've already done. So the first one, in that top left-hand corner, grab a pen for me. I want you to think about the last 12 months. I want you to put maybe 5 dot points down the left-hand side of that pride box, and I want you to write down at least 5 things that you are most proud of that you have improved or things that have gone your way in 2017. It might be things relating to work. Maybe you've done well at hitting a certain benchmark in terms of number of members. Maybe you've employed a couple of staff that have been reliable and enabled you to do less time sort of on the gym floor. Maybe it's outside of work. Maybe you competed in an event of some sort and you're happy with your own fitness level. Maybe it was a holiday you went on. Maybe it was savings related. But again, at least 5 different dot points. We're filling in the top left-hand corner. The little subheading says pride. What are you most proud of for 2017? I'm going to give you 60 seconds to fill that out. Off you go. We need some like elevator music or something in the background to entertain you. Maybe something in your personal life. Maybe you got away for a weekend away with your partner. Maybe you got engaged. All right. So we hear that little buzzer go off every now and then. That's me just timing how long we implement into each box. What I want you to do is share one of those with me in the little text box. So what's one thing are you proud of from 2017? Again, it might be business related. It might be personal. Totally up to you. But I just wanted to see that we're on the right track before we start filling out the rest of our worksheet. An example I'll share for 2017, I was proud to be a presenter. I'll be named as a presenter at Philex this year. So I'm doing a session on how to differentiate your marketing on Sunday morning at Philex in Sydney this year. And yeah, we're really happy to sell out in our live events that we did around the country. Let's hear from you guys. So Brenda's given us an example, setting up and renovating the studio in an old church. Well done. So always scary and a lot to do to set up. So congratulations, and it's nice to sort of go through that process. Grant's written set up teacher traineeship. Very good, very good. So obviously starting a little bit of a flow there of potential instructors there, but it's also forcing your staff to remain really strong at their craft. I find if I have to present in a topic, it forces me to be good at it. Very cool. All right, so what we want to do is move down to the next slide on our, or the next square on our worksheet. So we're using the January Jumpstart worksheets that you can download in the chat area now, or you can just scribble it out on your paper. So the one that talks about confidence, what I want you to write down, again, a couple of dot points down the left-hand side of that box, but I want you to write down what aspects of your business are you most confident with at the moment. So what I mean by that is it's a key staff member that's really reliable and is great at sort of following instructions, and you're really confident in having them as part of your team. Is it the sales process? Do you have a really nice process when someone actually inquires? Do you have a nice sort of clear funnel there where they come through from an inquiry, they get a phone call, they get an appointment? What are you confident in? Perhaps it's the recruitment of staff. Do you have favorite questions that you like to ask in the recruitment or the actual group interview that you do? What are you most confident with? So it's Rush Cutters Health last month. So towards the end of last year, we actually revamped our sales process. We had what I believe to be a little bit too slow and too sort of clunky. So we sort of refined the process. We did more training with the staff, and I'm confident now that for anyone that comes into the business, they'll be given a really good experience, and they'll be shown the benefits of actually exercising with us in the same consistent manner, regardless of who they do that appointment with. All right, very cool. So let's hear, so what are some of the things you're actually feeling confident with right now? Type it in the text box for me. I'm interested to see where you're at, and therefore perhaps it shapes some of the things that you're not so confident at or you want to improve as part of this plan. One of the things I was really confident with, and something I really enjoy now, is as part of the Gym Hub business and filling out this Jumpstart worksheet for Gym Hub, was the use of the iPad and actually making it a bit more interactive in our one-on-ones. So some of the things coming through from the guys, Glenn suggested rehab knowledge. He's confident in rehab knowledge. Therefore, yeah, I could see why that would be really important for your business there at Mossman. Grant, confident with studio appearance. That's very good. Yeah, we actually, when we opened our recent studio there in July last year, we did it without a reception area. So I'm now confident in the appearance as well, because we had the reception area installed in December. Vicky says reliable core staff. Good, good, good. All right, let's move on to the next one, excitement. So if we think about the year ahead, so we've spoken about the past in the top left-hand corner. We've spoken about the present in the middle box there. Now I'm interested to know what you're most excited about for the future. So when you think about your brand and your studios or single site, what are you most excited about seeing or implementing and sort of changing in the year ahead? Give you an example. We've booked this Saturday a mobile DEXA scan truck to come out to the studio to do 15-minute DEXA scans for everyone. So I'm really excited to see that. I've had a DEXA scan myself, and I just thought, it might be something that our members are also interested in doing. That's something we haven't done before, so I'm excited to give that kind of data back to the members and use that as part of the programming. What are you excited about for 2018? So the future, past, present, and future is what we're doing in this first column. Catch the wave. Okay, very good. So we've had a couple of shares already. Vicky's excited to leverage her time a bit better. I think that is, in a nutshell, the secret to you guys being a bit happier and a bit more effective. And it's, it's not an easy one. It's like to delegate more often and to hand things over that you currently do. But you guys will get so much done in the next sort of 90 days because we do that process. Additional training from Grant. These are great. So what I want to do, I want you to type in, when you go through that exercise down the left-hand column, we've called it Catch the Wave. We've spoken about past, present, and future. How does it make you feel? I'm asking you that, have just filled out the sheet. How does it actually make you feel after you've done that little exercise that's taken the last sort of 5 minutes and we reflect back on all the things you've done already? Type in an answer for me. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel more energetic or less energetic? Does it make you feel optimistic or pessimistic? Do you feel overwhelmed or do you feel excited? Determined, that's a good one. Yeah. And that's, optimistic, good. This is kind of the way it made me feel. So I always find these exercises are not only great for you guys as fitness facility owners, but it's great for you to consider something like this for your members when you're setting them up for goals. When they come in on their first day and they think about and they get a tour of the site and they look at your timetable, that's when I find they're most excited and they're most sort of keen to do their best. But they often sort of lose that feeling as they go ahead. My recommendation is, rather than just continuing to set new goals and always kind of stare up the next mountain in front of them, always give them an opportunity to acknowledge the things that they've already done Therefore, it creates that energy and the excitement for all the things that you do after that when planning and setting the new goals. If you feel confident in your own ability and you feel confident, and yes, we did actually tick off some stuff in 2017, it's going to mean that you'll be, I think, more aggressive, and it's potentially going to make you, more courageous when setting your goals moving forward. All right, fight for a cause. So we're in column 2. If you've just joined us, there's a little 3-page download in the chat box. If you hit that, otherwise you might just want to mark out these little boxes on a sheet. But we're setting up your year using the worksheets. So the second column, if we look at the top, it's called Fight for a Cause. So I want you to attach a really strong why to your business. So what I mean by this is I want you in that top corner, or the top box for this one, is come up with one number. So I want you to choose, there's all sorts of different things you could come up with, but I only want you to focus on one. So you might come up with numbers related to members or staff or results or something like that. But what I'd encourage you to do is come up with a number which relates to the success of your members. I believe if you help enough people get what they want, that you'll automatically be successful as well. So I want to understand if there was one number that you could measure your success by this year, what would it be? So I'll give you an example for Gym Hub. My goal is to help 15 fitness facility owners add an extra 100K of profit to their business in 2018. So the number for me is 15. So I specifically want to help 15. Maybe for your gym, you have a goal of helping 50 people lose 5 kilos or more. Maybe your goal is based around the number of personal trainers you want to employ. Maybe your goal is based around the average attendance to a group class, and you want to have a minimum of 12 as an average to every group class for 2018. I want you to choose what your number is. Again, no one's going to judge what it is, but I'd love it if you can just start to visualize that number and come back to that one number rather than 20 different KPIs or targets for the year ahead. All right, let's type it in the chat box. Give me an idea of what's one number that you could potentially make yours for 2018. I've shared that my number's 15 and my focus is all around 15. So total members on direct debit, 100. That's a good goal. I like that number. So we can definitely make it about our profit, and we can definitely make it about our growth. But again, if I can make any recommendations, if there's a way of connecting that number to the happiness or the success of your clients or your members, I feel like you'll automatically get the things that you're hoping for as well. So again, my focus is not on how much profit I was making in Gym Hub, but if I know if I can help at least 15 gym owners hit that profit target of 100K or more additional profit for their business, that I will automatically hit my goals. Next one down, the impact. I want you to think about your why. So what sort of impact would you like to have on the community and the people around you? I'll give you an example. On the screen before, I shared a slide of myself dressed up as Santa. And it's, this is something we do on Christmas Day every year. That's my son and daughter in the front row, and a couple of other people from local businesses that come out and join us. And we basically just deliver presents to kids that are stuck in hospital on Christmas Day. We go through a charity called the Humpty Dumpty Foundation. It's kind of just a way for us to have a little bit of impact. We actually get all the members of our fitness facility to donate those presents, put a little tree in the studio, and we just say, hey, this is something we like to do. And they come in and donate those presents. So it's a way for us to have impact outside of, just the profit goal. Another one where my wife and I have booked a family holiday to Fiji this year. And we've just, on one of the days that we're in Fiji, we've organised to go with some other families out to a little village and take some stuff, like some shoes and some toys and stuff that might be beneficial to them. What's your impact goal? What's something outside of your own benefit in terms of how you might impact the people in your life, whether it's family or siblings, or perhaps even in the local area where you might sort of give back? What is your impact goal? And to be honest, this wasn't something that I was ever doing when I first started running a fitness business. I was just trying to keep everything afloat, and I was sort of racing around like a mad chook. But I always found that this helps give it more meaning. All right, next one, top 3. So if you could only succeed with 3 goals for 2018, but you got all of them, what would those 3 goals be? Write them down in that box at the bottom. So if you're following on that first page of the January Jumpstart, we're actually at in the second column at the very bottom. You're just doing 3 dot points. And the Warren Buffett method says you write 25 goals and then you kill most of them, because it's used justifying and saying, look, I won't have the time, the energy, or the money to focus on achieving everything. But if I could only get 3, what would they be? Write it in there for me. This one's hard. For me, I wrote probably 5 down, and then I forced myself to put a line through 2 of them before I moved on to the next step. I'm not saying I don't want to achieve those things. All I'm saying is that if I could only achieve 3, if I only had the time, the energy, and the focus, that they'd be for those ones. So the 2 that sort of made my list that I won't focus on, I plan on using those for 2019. So still good goals. Not that they're not important, but I just don't have time for everything. So they could be business goals, they could be personal goals. I'm hoping there's at least one that's business related, and it's a measure of your growth or success as a business. We're going to come back to that box and do some planning on that as we go along. If you have your 3 written down already, just write ready in the text box and we'll move on. Perfect. Let's do it. So we're in column number 3. The title for this one's called Design Your Day. I like to use the analogy of kind of building a house. I think if you decided that you wanted a house and you just started, ran down to Bunnings today and then started hammering and putting stuff together, I don't know that house is going to look very good. But I feel like in comparison, we sometimes structure and implement our work schedule and our day with that same haphazard sort of approach. So my recommendation is if you want to be successful and you actually want to tick off those 3 things that you've just listed, the next thing we've got to talk about is designing your day. So the top one talks about your morning. I want you to list down here, what does your ideal morning routine look like? So for me, I like to start on an empty stomach. So I do like intermittent fasting. I get up and have like a coffee with a bit of butter or something in it. And then I find I'm actually most productive first thing in the morning between like 5 and 10 or something like that. So I'll actually sit and try and get my big things done at that point. For other people, you might be on the gym floor between 6 and 9 or something like that. So I'm interested to know, once that little shift finishes, when you are in control of when your day starts, what's your routine? What's your breakfast look like? What do you have? Is it like a green smoothie, or is it something different? Do you look at your goals when you first start the day? Do you like to do meditation for 10 minutes when you first get started? Something that I never do is check my phone before I actually get moving and I actually plan what my day looks like. So what I'm not interested in is being distracted or losing time on social media or something like that. Obviously, in a customer service business with our gym as well, you also open yourself up to starting on like a negative feedback. Maybe there's someone that's had an issue with their direct debit, or maybe there's a complaint or something like that. Yes, I will get to that, but I don't start my day, and the perfect routine doesn't involve starting my day on a negative like that. The other example that I like to do as part of like that first 20 minutes of my day is listing 5 gratitudes. So I actually do these in the car when I'm on my way to the gym or the office. And I just list 5 things that I'm actually grateful for. And I find that puts me in a really good headspace for customer service and for being a great leader in and around my team as well. Very cool. We're moving along. Number 2, movement. So we're all in the fitness industry. We sometimes put all our focus but on everyone else. Give me a quick snapshot on what the ideal movement looks like for you for the week. So down the left-hand column for movement, I want you to write Monday through to Sunday and give me an example of what that might actually look like. So for me on a Monday, I actually do a personal training session. I have a personal trainer myself at about 4:30. I like to do like a spin class on a Tuesday. Fridays is usually Pilates or yoga. I get out on my road bike on the weekends. So I want to actually understand what your perfect movement week looks like if you're actually designing your day and your weeks. Yours might be that you do it in the middle of the day. Yours might be that you do 3 sessions a week and that's a good fit for you. Others might like to do something every single day because it's good for stress relief, or it's totally up to you. There's no right or wrong answer there. I'm hoping this one's a little bit easier for you to fill out, but the number of sort of overweight, stressed, and fitness professionals that probably focus on everyone else rather than themselves is like shocking, I find. So give yourself permission to actually invest in your own health, and give yourself permission to lead and be a bit of a role model and be a healthy influence on your staff and the people in your life. We're moving pretty quick. So the next one down, what's your focus going to be? So when you're actually planning out your week, I like to actually theme my days. So for me, Monday is a day where I'm actually in the studio. So I have a big marketing focus on a Monday. On a Tuesday, it might be like more of a sales focus. So that could be where I get back to inquiries for things like Gym Hub. It might be that someone's waiting on a resource, or there might be someone buying tickets for an event or something like that. We do planning and stuff on a Thursday at 10 a.m. So I guess what I want you to think about is, what is it that you need more focus on in 2018, and when will you do that focus? So I want you to choose what you're focusing on and what day and time of the week you're actually going to allocate some time to doing that. So one of my focuses for 2017 was Facebook ads. I was just curious and I wanted to read more and learn more and test, and it sort of takes time So I actually put time into my diary, and my focus for 2017, there's lots of things that we were doing, but the one area that I really wanted to allocate time to and focus on was Facebook ads. And it's helped. It's put us in a good position now to sort of pass that on to Gym Hub members, but also generating lots of inquiries for our gym. All right. We're doing good. Let's move along. So how are we going? We've gone for about 35 minutes. So we're going to round up these last two columns and do a bit more planning on the other sheets. The fourth column from the left is called Create Space. So one of the things I'm conscious of for most people when I meet them, and I think for Vicky and Grant and a few of the guys that have logged in today, you've sort of shared this with me recently, is you actually feel like you're at capacity already. So even when you come up with a great idea of like a marketing strategy you want to implement, or even if you know that something urgently needs to sort of change with a staff member or something like that, you just don't simply have the time to implement it or implement it well. So what I need you to start thinking about is your actual calendar and planning out and creating space. So if you've got to actually let go of some stuff, and we've got to make sure we use our time well. So in terms of your calendar, I want to understand when you're working and when you're not. So I use the green, yellow, and red analogy. Red is basically any days of the week where you're doing nothing. For me, that's on a Sunday. My phone is off. I'm not responding to inquiries. I'm not responding to members. I do that so that first thing like 5 a.m. on Monday morning, I can be firing at my best. So what needs to happen in your calendar? A yellow day for me is a Friday. So I am working, but I'm not actually working at the gym. So I actually just go to a coffee shop and I sit there and I do some planning around, what marketing needs to happen. What do I want to cover in a management meeting next week? What about team meeting? What's one skill that we actually want to develop in our staff? So in your calendar, I want you to jot down in that little box there, if we're creating space, when are you working? So when is green? When are you doing a bit more of that sort of planning in yellow? And when's red? If red for you doesn't exist right now, I want you to give yourself permission to start. If it's not a full day, give yourself a half day. But I think you'll actually perform far better. Actually, I know you'll perform far better if you're not working 7 days a week, 12-hour days. Very cool. The next one is our workspace. So we need to declutter. So one of the things I'd encourage you to do here is think about your workspace as an indication of how clear you are mentally. So I find that when I clean my office, I find when I clean my car, I find when I remove apps from my phone that I don't use, I find when I unsubscribe from rubbish emails that are cluttering up my inbox, I have more time. I find that I'm focused more on the things I want to focus on and not these other things that are sort of distractions. So I'm wondering about your workspace right now. What needs to sort of improve there in order for you to actually perform at your best? Is there perhaps like a little area of your gym that you're just tossing all your boxes and unused stuff into? My wife bought me this little stand so I can do a lot more of these sort of things standing from now on with the laptop on top of it. So that's going to help me not feel like such a lazy person when I'm doing my marketing planning and stuff like that. Underneath that, tools. So at the bottom there, what sort of tools might you need to actually implement into your business that's going to make life easier? Are you currently frustrated with your CRM? You don't like it, you don't get the benefits you need, and perhaps you need to look at another one. Are you unhappy with the actual, walk-in inquiry sheets or the actual templates that you're using for answering the phones or something like that in your fitness business? I mentioned with us, we actually needed to upgrade and revise the tool that all our staff were going through when new people walked into the business, because they were just following the process, but the process was broken. For me, I've got Audible on my phone. I like to actually consume material in that way, like listening to it. We've got a beautiful walk at near Collaroy there, or it's called Longreef Headland. So I'll like at least once a week, I'll get out, listen to an audio book, and pound the pavement at the same time, and it gives me ideas. Maybe it's a podcast you like to listen to, but what tools are you using? Maybe it's something for like your Instagram posts. Maybe it's Hootsuite that enables you to schedule. So when I go into Rush Cutters Health on a Monday, I write 7 Instagram posts and I schedule one for Monday, one for Tuesday, one for Wednesday. And, the staff will still post random stuff during the week, little videos, funny little captions and stuff. But I know that when I leave on Monday night, because I don't go in any other days, I know that there will be something of value, something motivating, something with little updates. I know that that's all scheduled and set in place for the week ahead. And I use Hootsuite. Well, I don't, but our staff at Gym Hub set that up for us, which all you guys are welcome to use as well. And they can set up Hootsuite for you. All right, last column, schedule an audience. So what we're talking about here is making sure that if we're going to actually grow our business, if one of those goals involved more profit, more direct debit, more members, I think you need to be a bit strategic about how we're going to get in front of enough of those right people. So the first one there is talking about events. So I want you to think about what sort of event might you need to consider that's going to help you to get in front of enough of the right people. So examples might be running a seminar. So in the past, we've done seminars like, weight loss myths and, what you need to know. We've done events like local fun runs and created like a running program or something to get people ready for it. One of our clients has done 30 days clean, which is they're a yoga studio. So they basically created an event to attract people to their facility. And for 30 days, they're encouraged not to have alcohol, not to have caffeine, to do 5 exercise sessions a week. And people love the format. They love to come and be part of an event. And they think, this might be something I can do forever. But if they follow the actual recipe, they feel better for actually doing it. Let me see some of the other ones I scribbled down. Maybe you've got a weight loss challenge as an event. Maybe other events I've done. I did a 4-week group exercise session for local businesses. So we went into ANZ Bank and we said, we'd love to, help promote health and fitness in the local area. If you've got 10 or more staff that want to come and do a lunchtime session with us, we'll do it like specifically for your staff. We had 12 people come. We did boxing with them, but other things that are really popular, I find in the middle of the day, are things like yoga or like a strength circuit or something like that. But by actually creating the event and inviting people to it, we had 12 people come for the month. We had about, I think there was 8 or 9 of them that stayed on as members after that. We've done it with school teachers as well, where you actually create something for school teachers. You invite them to all come in at 4 p.m. After school 1 day a week. And again, there's a reason for them for you to attract the right audience. What projects do you need to sort of focus on this year? So projects, what are some projects? So maybe your website doesn't have a video on it. If you don't have a video on a website in 2018, you won't be found as easily on Google, but you're also kind of just creating a flyer. Like websites in the 90s had, just a flyer sort of appearance. There was no interaction. Maybe you need to put like something like a free download or a free resource or something on your website so people can leave their details and start following you. Maybe you want to do like an ebook or something. Maybe as a project you want to introduce a new program like a strongman program or a new class. What sort of projects do you have inside your business? I think we had someone share before that they have sort of upskilled all their staff in rehab. One of my clients, I've just organised for their staff to do a level 1 powerlifting certification. So basically a company comes in for 4 hours, they do part 1. 3 months later, they come in, they do another 4 hours, they do part 2. As a result, all their staff then learn how to do deadlifts and power cleans and all those sort of exercises that they're really interested in. It helps their members to actually learn to do them safely. It's a great retention tool, but they're sort of projects you might like. Maybe there's like like equipment that needs to be refurbished. Maybe you need to paint your studio. Maybe your branding's a bit old school and you just need to flip it all and actually update your actual logos. Maybe you need new uniforms, new equipment like mats or something for your yoga studio. And the last box we're going to fill out on page 1 is people. So what people do you need in order to be successful in 2018 to hit your top 3 goals? Is there an experienced person that you need to come in and manage your facility? Do you need beginner trainers to come in and do some personal training? Do you need someone to come in and do you need a business coach? Do you need an accountant or someone to do your financials? Do you need a bookkeeper? Is there a book or something of someone that you know that you'd like to read? I think over Christmas we sort of gifted a few books to our members. Like one of them was the Zappos story talking about delivering happiness. It talks about 10 core values, and just looking after your members creates that retention culture. Maybe there's a book or a person of influence that you need to get around and bring into your life. Even if you don't know them face to face, maybe it's like someone famous, like a 4-hour work week, Tim Ferriss or someone like that. Maybe it's Filex you want to get to this year or workshop. So what people do you need to bring into your life? If you have done everything you know how to do in 2017 and didn't hit the top 3 goals that you've just listed now, maybe there's something you need to learn. Maybe there's people that you need to meet. They're going to actually help you get from A to B. Good. Any questions? Fire them onto text, and then we're going to flick over to page 2. Any questions? Type them in now. We'll also have questions at the very end, where we'll turn on the microphone if that's easier for you. Okay, so looks like most people are waiting till the end, which is totally cool. So what we're going to do is get to page 2. So on your little printout, the next one's called the action planner. In other words, what's your actual plan of attack? What are you going to do to achieve your top goals? So what I want you to do is go back to the 3 things you listed on the page earlier called the top 3, and you're going to transfer those 3 into that left-hand column on the action planner. So if one of your goals was on the previous slide, was to get to 100 direct debit members, I want you to put that on the left-hand column in that top left-hand corner. If one of your goals is to hire a manager, put that in the next box down in the left-hand column. If one of your goals is to take a month off and to get overseas or something this year, put that in the bottom left-hand corner. It is totally up to you what you want to achieve here. And like a client, if a client comes into your fitness facility and as an example says, hey, I want to lose 30 kilos, there's a way to get it done. If we outline the plan and say, in order to lose 30 kilos, these are the foods you need to remove. These are the foods you need to eat. This is the exercise you need to do. If that person's not prepared to implement those steps, obviously there's two choices there. We need to either go back and change the actual goal or the target, or we need to have a chat to them about, well, if it's not implementing it like that, what could we do instead? Because there are more than one way to get a good result. So what we're going to be doing, if everyone's following along correctly, we should have our 3 goals now written down the left-hand side on our action planner. And what I've done is given you 9 action steps for each of those areas. So if, for example, your one in the top left-hand corner was to get 100 new or 100 members on direct debit, one action step in one of those 9 boxes might be to check in and measure how many members do we currently have on direct debit. Another one might be based around retention. How can we improve retention so we don't lose as many people? So another action step could be to maybe we do some training around selling contracts rather than week by week, because we know that will increase retention. And we know that's going to help us on our goal to have 100 direct debit people. Maybe part of your goal of actually achieving 100 direct debit members is to do a little assessment on how good your classes are. So they might be coming in to do Pilates at your studio, and one of the reasons why they don't join after they have a trial, or one of the reasons why they don't stay after their initial agreement is finished, is because the class isn't actually that good. So if we do like a review or some sort of little assessment on each of the classes, maybe that helps us to identify a weak trainer or an area that we can develop in our staff. So I hope everyone can follow along, but again, this is just a planning sheet. I want you to understand that when I've done this in the past, it gets messy. I just sort of scribble it all out. I sometimes print out this document again when I'm finished and write it out just so it feels clearer. Sometimes with a goal, there's more than 9 action steps. So rather than sort of coming up with a vague thing like, improve your website, I might have to write action step 1, choose 2 new images for the website. Action step 2, embed the Facebook pixel. Action step 3. So you want to get really, really specific, and please don't, it does not matter whatsoever if you have more than 9 action steps. There's no reason whatsoever why you couldn't print this sheet out and just have more. So again, we're going to work on this goal for all of 2018. You might focus on one specific thing out of your top 3 at a time, or you might do a little bit on each of them each month as you move forward. But I'm confident if we only focus on the top 3 things, that you will achieve all 3 of those. And remember, with your action steps, you're more than welcome to send this to me after today's session. If you've got a great goal, if you're not quite sure on what the action steps are required to get to that goal, That's normal. But I think gut feel will tell you a few of the ones that you can write in, and I can help give you some feedback and direction as well via email or in a one-on-one. So I just want to give you another 2 minutes to keep working on that. Yes, the easy part in goal setting is writing down your top 3. What do you want? I want 100 members on direct debit. Like that will just jump out of your brain. What isn't so easy is what do we need to fix in order for that to happen? How do we increase our lead flow so there's more inquiries and more potential people buying each month? If you've got any questions while the group are writing their action steps down, please feel free to type them in the chat box and I can make a start at answering some of these either here or in the Q&A time at the end. So I've done this process myself for both businesses. So we've got Rush Cutters Health as a gym. I've done this process as well for Gym Hub. The plan is written because I find personally that I'm most creative and it's easier for me to actually get my thoughts down if I do it on paper. You personally might prefer to type it in. I just prefer paper. I turn my phone off. I turn my emails off, laptop shut, and I just sit there and I plan. I do it with a coffee and an empty stomach, and I come up with a really, really cool plan. I usually let it sort of digest for a day. I come back to it and I go, well, if I ask myself, if I did all of those things, am I a 10 out of 10 confident that that's actually going to get me there? If I am, let's get a second opinion anyway. Let's ask Steve. Maybe there's 1 or 2 things I've overlooked. If I'm not confident, what am I not confident in? So it might be you've listed an action step like, generate 10 leads a week from Facebook. And maybe you know you need to do it, but you don't know how to do it. And they're the sort of things that you'll learn as part of implementing this plan. Very, very cool. All right. So, guys, this is a work in progress. I would encourage you, if you do not have an appointment at 2 o'clock today, I would encourage you to put another 10 minutes or 15 or whatever you need into this sheet today while you're focused, while you're thinking about it. Please, if I can give you permission, please understand there is nothing more important you could be doing with your time right now. If you've had an inquiry come through that wants to buy, if you've got a new trainer that's inquired, if you've had a water leak, I would still focus this for the next 15 minutes because you will feel better with some clarity and your business is actually going to benefit from having a plan. Everything else you can handle at 2:15 today. All right. Page 3 is called Overcoming Obstacles. Now, if I'm honest, I know in my heart of hearts that there's probably going to be some things that are actually going to get in my way. So I've outlined 3 things that I want to achieve this year. If I could only achieve 3, they're the 3 I want. I've put them on the previous worksheet. I've started to jot down some action steps that I know have to happen in order to be successful. What I want you to do here is do a stress test. I want you to be honest. What obstacles are going to get in your way or are going to be a barrier and are going to make life a little bit harder? I want you to jot down anything whatsoever down the left-hand side of this page 3 worksheet right now and be open and honest. It could be something little. It could be something big. But if you already have this kind of little butterflies in your stomach in setting that plan because you just know there's some problems that you're going to face, let's attack it right now. So one of my obstacles, because I did this at the start of January, one of my obstacles in terms of hitting our growth targets was generating inquiries from Google. So we've got a Google AdWords account. We're paying more than we want to for leads. We do a little bit of a budget towards Google AdWords because we're a new gym. We've only just opened. We're not we don't pop up first if you look for gyms in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, because there's people been there for 10 years previously. An obstacle for us was having enough budget to actually continue on with Google AdWords. So a strategy was booking a session with someone from Google AdWords to actually give us some help. I had a session this morning with someone that gave us some direction. It's free to have this session with them. They want you to keep spending money on Google AdWords, and recommendations were helpful. So they explained how, changing some of the keywords was going to attract more of the people we wanted. The images weren't the best to sort of attract the people we wanted, and were sort of set up before the gym opened. And there was kind of a list of things to do. So the obstacle was we didn't really have enough budget to keep using Google AdWords each month. The strategy was find someone that could help us. And the next actions are going to be where I actually get in and start to implement some things. So I've got a appointment today, or I've got time blocked out today at 3 o'clock to update some of those things in our account. What I would love to do is understand what some of your other obstacles are. I want you to type in one obstacle each. I'll give you an example of what a strategy could look like to overcome it. And again, all we're doing here is just being open and honest. I don't want you to feel like you can't achieve your top 3 things and you can't go about implementing those action tasks simply because the obstacle seems too big. If we know what, I believe most of us know already what some of those things are going to be, the ones that pop up in between, we can't plan for and isn't related to what we're doing today. So, Shine, what I might do is get you to turn on everyone's microphones for me. I'm going to finish up our session shortly, and I just want to have a little bit of Q&A time. Before we do that, I just want to sort of check in on how people are going. Joe, if you can actually hear me, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Hey, what's one of your top 3 goals that you're actually working on for the business for 2018?
To get one of my newest PTs to get him to 30 clients. It's one of his goals.
Perfect. So I've got the same goal for some of our staff. What's a action step that you know has to happen before this person's going to get even close to 30 hours of PT?
Teaching him all the retention strategies that I've learnt. And
great.
He's doing them.
Great.
So, yeah.
So one recommendation is you create a bit of a rollout plan for this. I feel like, because you've been in the industry for years, I've been in the industry for years, and the thought of trying to, what I would love to do is just grab a USB stick, unplug it out of my brain and put it into the trainers. But that isn't always possible. If there is any processes that you like to teach a staff member, just know that when a new trainer comes in 3 months or 12 months, you're probably going to want to teach the same things to them anyway. So one of the action steps I would recommend is writing a list of what are the 5 most important things I would like to transfer to that trainer. Number 2 for action steps is when in my week or my schedule could I be available to actually start that? So for me, I actually meet at 11:30 every Monday with the team, and we do some sales training and stuff like that. But that's in the calendar So I know that I can work through that list of things that I want to start to transfer over, and that's in the calendar every week. So I know that all I have to do is just kind of implement, show up to the meeting with a bit of preparation, share, my ideas and my training, and by the end of that, that period, they will have learnt what I needed them to. Joe, what's a barrier for you to being successful, do you think, with that trainer getting to 30?
Kind of making him more accountable. I think with the last staff I had, I gave him a lot more freedom, and it didn't really, maybe be more of a leader to him.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So there's a couple of things you sort of put in place there. My challenge for you when you're planning a strategy to overcome that is to be a little bit more specific. So if I was to be a better leader, what would that look like? That's a nice question to ask yourself. So it might mean that you just have, like we do, a structured team meeting each week. Yeah. It might mean that you go into that meeting with a little agenda, and by being a bit clearer on what you want to cover, maybe that's good leadership. Yeah. Maybe you said another one is, trying to give them a bit more framework or whatever. I think coming up with a list of expectations. So it could be like a role description that you give them when they first start. It might be that you just introduce it now and they've worked for you for years. But like a full understanding of what do I do on a Monday? What do I do on a Tuesday? What are my weekly roles that I'm responsible for? Might be some cleaning, might be some calls or something like that. But I wonder if you could get a little bit clear on what are the roles and expectations for trainer A. And other things that we've used with success in the past is like bare ass minimums or non-negotiables. I know, Vicky, you've implemented stuff like that as well, where you just have like one page of like, this has to happen if you want to participate as part of this team. So things like arrive 15 minutes before your first session, always in uniform, say hello to people when they come through the door. If you share like a list of these are your roles and these are the non-negotiables, I think that trainer will be a lot clearer on what it is that you're after. And by implementing those things, will naturally retain members longer and be more attractive for people that come in for free sessions.
No, I've started that. That's good. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, guys, I just wanted to do a quick whip around for other questions, and then we're going to actually finish the session. Remember, this session has been recorded. So if there's anything we sort of went through which you weren't clear on, or it would help perhaps to just hear again, please feel free to check out the link with the sheets and the actual recording of it, which I'll post in the Facebook area. And all of this stuff will obviously go into time management in the members area. Vicky, do you have a question before we finish up today?
No, it was excellent. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Very, very cool. Just know, Vicky, I know you had a busy week last week. I know you're not alone. I know there's other people in this session today that felt like that last week. Hence why I wanted to just like share a little bit around planning. And I just wanted to put enough emphasis that when you spend time actually getting clear, the anxiety and the stress comes down. When you actually choose selectively what 3 are the most important and the only 3 that you need to get this year, it takes pressure off. If last week you were thinking about achieving 10 things and now you only have to do 3, it feels easier to do it. And just know that your plan for implementing it is just that. It's just a plan. It's a draft, if not. And you can always shoot those through to me, guys, so I can give you feedback. But it's like the end of January. We've got 11 months to make this happen. I've done this process at the start of 2017. I've done it at the start of 2016. I've had goals of selling a business. I've had goals of opening a new business. I've had goals of buying an investment property. I've had goals of spending a month overseas. We had 13 weeks overseas in 2015. But if you put it down there and you work backwards, well, what needs to happen for it to not to kill my business or not to sort of send me loopy? I think you'll actually find that it is doable and you will be successful in actually implementing them this year.
Thank you.
Glenn, I can see you're still on the call. Any questions?
No, it's all been great. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for coming along. And yeah, shoot through. If you think of anything after today's session, shoot it through via email. Grant, any questions? I can see you're still there.
No, not at the moment. Just need to go back through the recording and refine my notes a bit.
Perfect. Again, my encouragement for you is if you don't have anything urgent right now, do it now. So write out some more of your plan. The easiest way to get it to me is to just take a photo of it on your phone, send it as a text or an email. If there's anything in particular that you're most concerned about or unclear on, perhaps just bring that to my attention with a highlighter or something like that. But yeah, the planning part, I think the bit you might have missed at the start, Grant, is definitely worth watching. And that's the bit where you sort of reflect back on the year before. That will, put a bit of a shot in the arm in terms of motivation and increase your energy levels as well in coming up with a great plan. All right, I need to go. As I mentioned before, 3 o'clock, I'm tidying up some Google AdWords, and I want to stick to my time in my calendar. And I encourage you guys to do the same. I want to thank you for coming. I hope it's been useful. Any other questions, please get in contact. I'll chat to you real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.